So it is January 9th, 2022, and we are out of antibacterial detergent. So I can't wash my miniature food processor. In place of that, I'm making homemade hummus, manually smashing it with this colander like large spoon. Same ingredients as usual, but manually. New bag of nutritional yeast I had already added tahini, balsamic olive oil, tamari, Himalayan pink salt, coarsely ground black pepper, 1 lemon juiced, a can of chickpeas, olive oil, the first cold extracted olive oil. Saves me the step from having to clean the miniature food processor. It's good. Never tried it this method. I mean, I've had hummus homemade mashed like this. When I was living in the apartment, my sister made it but she didn't use the same ingredients. She just used lemon and chickpeas, I believe it was. I don't even know if she added the tahini to it. I don't remember tasting tahini in there. I had also added the balsamic. Doing this method, it's very diluted at first, and then it becomes thicker once it's smashed more. With the same measurements. It's just at first, when the chickpeas are in their whole form, it's a bit more liquidy. It is still a little bit more of like a dip right now, consistency. If I chill in the fridge, it'll solidify a bit. I'll wrap it up in plastic wrap. Because the oils of the tahini solidify a bit. I may do that before I actually take my portion. I may refrigerate it and then scoop it out. So it's easier to scoop onto chips later. It's only 3:20 in the afternoon. It's good. I love hummus. It's in my genetics. Hey mom, I'm part Mediterranean, right? In our genetics. Sicilian? Sicily? Italy? France? Dad's mother was French, right?
Yes. I'll say she's French then.
No, it's not.
You're right. And Swiss, that was what grandma was, right?
To wipe down the bowl a bit.
She was born in Switzerland.
And then
That doesn't make her Swiss.
Yeah, she was born in Switzerland, but she was not Swiss. She was French. She grew up most of her life in France, Bridget.
She was French and German.
No, she was not German.
An Alsatian.
She was just born in Switzerland. How many years, decades did she grow up in France for? Her entire life, practically, right?
Yeah.
How many years was she in New York City for when Dad was born?
What?
When Dad was born in New York City in 1940, was it 46?
47.
47? 1947? How many years was she already in New York City for? 10? 6?
I guess, no, just like 1 or 2 years.
1 or 2 years, and then she moved back to France?
No, she didn't move back directly to France.
Yeah. Dad grew up with friends. When you didn't Dad have a childhood friends he used to talk about that lived in an apartment nearby? Okay, whatever. Story keeps changing. I heard a bunch of stories when I was younger that was a lot more interesting than today. You used to have a lot of interesting stories I heard when I was a kid growing up about you and Dad in apartments and everything.
He grew up in an apartment for part of his life.
Yeah? Where?
That was only till he was about 7.
Okay, and where was that?
In New York.
New York City?
No. Harlem.
Harlem? Yeah, that's New York City. And that was with his father, right?
Yeah. His father and his mother.
Okay, and then when did he move to Teaneck?
Father took him out of school and brought him to Teaneck.
And he was living with his father in Teaneck?
What?
He lived with his father in Teaneck when his mother moved back to France?
No, she lived in New York for a while.
New York? Okay. How many years?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, try to remember a lot of...
Traveled back in
Yeah, he had a group of friends. I remember you guys used to talk about it all the time.
He didn't have a group of friends
Okay.
in New York.
Okay, whatever. His mother did. That's what I'm trying to say. And he knew them. He met them.
She had some later on
Yeah.
in
Okay.
New York.
Okay. Anyone in Little Italy?
No.
No? I'm surprised. Well, we don't know that. For sure.
Go back to my little cubby in my room.
It's good. It's good. It's turning out good now.
That fringe took a long time to do.
This is like the colonial method.
Does it look pretty up there? Yeah. Looks a little neater, doesn't it? Yeah. I took the little mushrooms.
I like dark techno. Dark techno with deep bass lines. I like that type of like the soundtrack that I posted that was featured in the movie Who Am I?
Okay.
Who Am I? Yeah. I like that track.
Going back to my room because I can't carry magazines in.
It's okay. I mean, I have a friend that can make good techno music. I made a track called Ergot and Host. I'm not really good with the keyboard and chords and stuff like that. But I was able to do it manually okay with the mouse cursor and drawing the notes with onto the tracks or the audio clip sections for on Ableton Live intro, along with Reason 4, the sequencer on there. Yeah, I studied a good amount of audio engineering. I understand it quite well, actually. Well, I'm not good with the keyboard in my coordination. I was never good with that. Like playing live like that. I could maybe get good playing live by pushing the buttons like on the faders, the slider faders on the mixer. So, those sliders here. Great. These are called faders. And this you'd map. These are MIDI controllers that you'd map to, let's say, a software-based controller on the computer system within Reason 4 or Ableton Live Intro or Ableton Live Digital Audio Workstations or DAWs. You would basically right-click on the controller on the software and then move it up and down so it detects it through the MIDI with the MIDI keyboard set up within the software settings to detect those movements. So those are called faders, the sliders. These are called faders. And the others are knobs. These are knobs. And these are the keys. And chords are like when you hold down more than one note at a time. The far left, right there, is a pitch bend on that MIDI controller. I have a couple other MIDI controllers down here somewhere, yeah. Oh wait, no, I lent them out to my sister. I do have the Launchpad, Novation Launchpad, but I also have the LPD8 Akai. That's kind of like a Launchpad, and I had created using there's a software called Bohm's MIDI translator. It allows one to basically create an emulator or use its scripting language to translate or intercept the signal between the hardware device of those controllers and between the hardware device of those controllers and the signal being transmitted from the sliders and the knobs before it reaches the digital audio workstation like Reason 4 and Ableton Live Intro or Ableton Live, and then translate those controllers to, what I did was I took I think it's 8-pad. It has 8 pads or key presses. They're like it's kind of like a drum pad for your fingers. There's 8 of them on the LPD8, I think, Akai LPD8. And I had, with the MIDI translator, made extra 64 minus 8 virtual ones, so that it basically, when you turned one of the knobs, it had multiplied the location on, let's say, the software that it would be triggering, so that when you press the pads, it would map to, let's say, 64 virtual controllers instead of just 8, being limited to the 8. And 15 minutes is almost up. Making more hummus. January 9th, 2022.